And we are back. Power Rankings, NFL Week 3 edition. At number 32, we had the Browns, a new worst team going down 2 spots. The Browns, they lost 41-17, something like that, to the Ravens in a game that was close in the first half. But once it hit quarter number 3, it was done. This Browns team, I'm very concerned about because they're already starting 0-2 with both those losses being in the division. There wasn't many expectations for them going into the season, but now any chance they had is going to require an immediate turnaround. And for them to have to go against Green Bay, arguably the best defense in the league next week, I would be amazed if they pull off an upset win. Number 31, we had the Dolphins who are going up a spot. They ended up losing 33-27 to the Patriots in a game that was really entertaining, really close. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, they weren't able to pull through. It was a significant improvement offensively from last week against the Colts. Defensively, I'd argue it was an improvement, but they still allowed 33 points. This team, people are going to be upset in Miami. This is probably one of those years where you just have to see what's, is salvageable out of this team, because this was a team that people were like, oh, it could be a sneaky good team. And here we are. Everyone's talking, what week is Mike McDaniels getting fired? Are the Dolphins going to move on from Tua if they end up with a good draft pick? Or, if a team offers something really good? That's the point we're in. And for a team who made the playoffs, a few years ago with, a very similar core, this is very concerning. Number 30, we had the Panthers who are going up a spot. Kind of the same thing with them. They definitely improved from last week, but they still weren't able to get the win as they fell to the Cardinals. I believe it was 29-24. 27-22. Great game in terms of the Panthers rallying in the fourth quarter. For those first 3 quarters, I couldn't even tell you what happened because nothing happened. It looked like it would be a Jacksonville game all over again. But they did a great job in the fourth quarter to really rally back. Unfortunately, it was too little, too late. The only bright side is we know this team now has heart. They have what it takes to win after that fourth quarter. We just need to see them do it consistently through fourth quarters. You can't just win a football game in the fourth quarter and, every time. That's not going to happen. So, if they're able to build off of this, great. I could actually see great things happening. Probably not playoffs, but, they could at least salvage this season. And, Bryce Young could turn into their franchise guy. But as of now, I'm not sold quite yet, but the pieces are there. 29, we have the Titans going down a spot. They ended up losing to the Rams in a game that was actually pretty close until, like I said, the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter seems to be talked about a lot here so far. The Rams kind of pulled ahead at that point. Cam Ward, he looked okay. There's nothing to say here. He had a really great first half, and it just kind of went downhill from there. Great job by that team, though, to really stay in it against back-to-back quality opponents in the Broncos and Rams, 2 teams who made the playoffs last year. Do I think the Titans are going to be any good? Absolutely not. But, hey, at least they're showing that there is plenty to be happy about for the future. 28, we had the Saints who are going up a spot, even though they lost. Another game for the Saints where they end up losing, but they were in it for the whole game. They lose 26-21 to the 49ers. Now, the key takeaway here is the 49ers did have a backup quarterback who the Saints weren't able to beat. But then again, it's Mac Jones. I do actually like Mac Jones. I think he should get another chance in the league as a starter. That's just me, though. I think the Saints are surprisingly good for what people thought they'd be. With that being said, I thought they would be, arguably worse than, you could argue that, the best college players in the country would, translate to the NFL and be better than the Saints. But here we are. They're somehow, some way actually looking decent in a situation where I thought they would be by far the worst team in the league. So congrats to them on beating the very low expectations. A team who I thought would definitely take a step up but not quite be as good as people are projecting. The Bears at 27, -5 spots. This was brutal for the Bears. This was one of those where You looked good against the Vikings, a division foe. People are thinking, oh, maybe they're able to hang in there with the Lions because, the Vikings did so well last year. Maybe. No, they were not. 52 points. The Lions went ahead and told Ben Johnson, we don't need you anymore. You chose to go to the division foe. There's no respect for you. I mean, I'm sure there is respect, but run with it. They got destroyed. The only bright spot was Rome Odunze actually looked pretty good that game. That was it. The only thing that looked promising was Rome Odunze. If you're a Bears fan, I'm sorry, but man, it just sucks because every year, off-season champs, but nothing comes out of it. It just shows that signing big names doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good. It's also about coaching and scheming. Granted, Ben Johnson, his first year, they looked good week 1, but, we need to see drastic improvements, and I think it's going to have to be immediate for the Bears to even be talked about as a potential playoff team. 26, we had the Patriots staying the same. Even with the win, they beat the Dolphins, who last week looked like a walking corpse. So I'm not going to sugarcoat this very much. Great job by them, though, offensively putting up all these points. Antonio Gibson got a kickoff touchdown. But defensively, this was a team who put up 8 points last week. You got to do better. 25, we have the Jets, who are going down 9 spots. They ended up losing to the Bills 30-10 in a game where Justin Fields ended up getting injured. I don't know if it's going to be long-term. I heard concussion at some point. I don't know the severity of it. I assume if he is going to be out, it's probably going to be 1 game. So I'm not worried if I'm a Jets fan. What I would be worried about, though, is how promising that Week 1 game looked and then taking a step down. The moment you play a division foe, the Bills are turning into the 2000 Patriots. They are destroying every single AFC East team, and it's not even close. Jets, I still think there's hope for this season because of, the first-year head coach, the quarterback. It could work out, but at the moment I would, be like, okay, what should we do next? Not head coach-wise. I'm talking maybe looking to drafting a quarterback or something like that. I know the last time you did it didn't pan out, so. 24, we have the Raiders, who are going down 4 spots, even though they are 1-1. They actually looked okay in their first game. They come back, multiple turnovers. Nothing really looked good. I'd argue Brock Bowers is the focal point of that team. Ashton Jesse actually did really well. He was fighting for literally every last yard he could possibly get. The big concern, obviously, it looked like Geno Smith's first read was Brock Bowers pretty much every time, and it just wasn't there. Great job by the Chargers to really guard him, even though he was injured. I think the Raiders, yes, you have, these young guys, Jack Beck, Dante Ford, and Trey Tucker that you'd hope, could rely on and boss him into something. But I think you need a veteran receiver. I think Jacoby Myers is better off as a wide receiver 2 than a wide receiver 1. Not saying he is a wide receiver 2. I think he's one of those high-end receiver 2s, low-end receiver 1s. I just think he needs another guy paired with him to really see the offense, blossom. But they don't quite have that right now. 23, we have the other New York team, the Giants, going up 4 spots. Even though they lost, that was a roller coaster of a game. Russell Wilson, 450 passing yards and multiple touchdowns, 3, 4, something like that. And it's crazy how many amazing games we have had, and it is week 2. Let's look. We had Steelers, Jets, and then Ravens, Bills, week 1, and then week 2 we have this one, Giants, Cowboys. Amazing. It sucks for the Giants because if you do that, almost every single game you're going to win, but you just happen to, fall flat against what hurts most is a division foe. Even if, nothing's going to come out of arguably either of the two teams, bragging rights are still there. So, really sucks you weren't able to get the win. But at least there's hope that, because Malik Neighbors went off. Wan'Dale Robinson went off. That young receiver core is actually showing a lot of flashes. 22, we have the Vikings. down 13 spots. J.J. McCarthy. I don't know what happened. He might be a one-quarter wonder because he looked horrible in that first game against the Bears until the fourth quarter. He looked horrible the whole game against the Falcons. 22-6, they lost. That defense did a great job to keep them into the game until that fourth quarter. I mean, it was literally just field goal after field goal. If I am the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy is injured. He's projected to miss 2 to 4 weeks. So their backup is Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz plays well, and this is crazy, do you roll Carson Wentz? Not like full time. I'm saying maybe J.J. McCarthy needs to learn another year. Don't rush, these first round picks, especially at quarterback. If I am the Vikings, I'm in a very interesting spot because I know I have the team to win. Am I willing to waste this team's prime to see if we have a franchise quarterback? I don't think I'm willing to. I think if Carson Wentz plays well, I'd roll Carson Wentz for this year and, come back next year with McCarthy. So, yeah, give me the Vikings at 22 with, a very big question mark. 21, we got them boys. They're staying the same. Not much to talk about. We saw how good they were in that game. But then again, it's against the New York Giants, so I'm not really worried at the moment. They played well against the Eagles, so this could be, a turning point for them where it's like, you thought because we got rid of Micah Parsons, we'd be bad, and he was our only guy who was going to give us a chance. Who knows? I mean, their defense allowed 30-plus points, so maybe it's not wrong for people to think that. But their offense looks lethal, so it could be one of those Cincinnati Bengals years last year where they're going to have to rely on that offense to really carry them. Number 20, we got the Texans down 2 spots. Poor Texans. They've had back-to-back great opponents in the Rams and the Buccaneers, and they've held in them both times. 2019 loss, they lose to the Buccaneers where they were winning until 9 seconds left or something like that. It literally came down to the final 10 seconds. So, for the Texans, they're showing a lot of promise. It's just we need to see them win the games. They have a great opportunity to go 1-0 in the division against the Jaguars next week. If they're able to do that, I think this team could immediately skyrocket. Because, yeah, they're holding in there with the good teams. We just need to see them beat them. 19, we got the Falcons. They're up 5 spots. Great win for them against the Vikings, although now that we're looking at it, not very impressive because considering how they looked. We also saw the Vikings barely beat the Bears, who got blown out. I think the Falcons are officially turning the page in the book. I think they're only going to get better from here on out. I think Michael Penix is going to be their guy. I'm officially sold, even though he didn't play the greatest. I saw enough. Maybe not, top 10 quarterback, but I think he will be, in that average tier, above average. One of those guys who is expendable, but you would not expend him. So, yeah. Number 18, we have the Cardinals up 5 spots. Great win for them against the Panthers. It was going really well into the fourth quarter, and then the Kais kind of choked, allowed an onside kick. It was very scary. You got the win. All that matters. Yeah, you're 2-0. I mean, you have not looked no one in that NFC West has really looked the greatest with their wins, besides the Seahawks, who are, the worst record somehow. But 3 of you guys are 2-0, and, I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're able to win those games, you're able to win those games. All right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who scored the most points. It's who had the most wins that gets you into the playoffs. So, for the Cardinals, I mean, they're stringing wins together. That's all that matters. 17, we got the Steelers, -6. 16, we have the Seahawks, up 9. The Seahawks ended up beating the Steelers 31-17 in a game that was actually surprisingly close. I know it didn't show. The Seahawks really, it was one of those where the Seahawks had just one play that kind of changed the game and never looked back. Kenneth Walker looked amazing. Jackson Smith-Njigba looked amazing. As that true receiver 1 in that offense. Looking at the Steelers side, I really liked how Jaylen Warren looked, even though, stats might not show as good as he was. I think this is two teams who are probably going to be fighting for those lower tier playoff spots, the 6th, the 7th seed. We already know the Steelers are. They've done it every year pretty much since Big Ben left. So, yeah, I think both these teams are middle of the pack teams. I think they will have something to be playing for come, end of come January, end of December. So, yeah, let's see what these two bring. Number 15, we have the 49ers, who are going to be going up 4 spots. A quality win over the Saints with a backup quarterback showing, hey, we can win while Brock Purdy is out. While George Kittle is out, even with all these injuries they've already suffered, they're 2-0. It's the same thing with the Cardinals. They haven't looked great, but they're somehow managing to win games. Not to mention they've won both a conference opponent against the Saints and a Division I against the Seahawks. So if I am the 49ers, I'm very happy at this point, even though there are so many question marks, so many Band-Aids on the field because of injuries. We'll see if they're able to, keep doing the 49ers magic where they either, miss the playoffs or make the championship game. 14, we have the Chiefs who are 0-2, down 2 spots. It's rare that I feel bad for the Chiefs fans because starting out the season, having to play the Chargers in Brazil, and you barely lose, but you hang in there the whole time, sucks. And then having to play the Eagles, barely losing, you hang in there the whole time, sucks. There is an argument that this game could have ended differently if we saw the officials actually enforce penalties when they were needed. Push. But, I'm happy the Chiefs lost. I'm just, I feel bad for, this brutal schedule they've had to start the season. The only bright spot is they've looked pretty good at both of them. So at least we know they can still hang with these teams. We'll still be talking about them probably come December, January. It's just, they're at risk of not even getting the 1 seed. I don't think that's happened in a while. Or I could be wrong. But, yeah. 13, we got Duval. 12, we got the Bengals. The Bengals going up 2 spots. The Jaguars going up 2 spots. The Bengals beat the Jaguars in a nail-biter down to the very end, 31-27. The key takeaway, Joe Burrow gets injured. He's projected to be out until probably end of November, early December-ish. If I'm the Bengals, I know people are saying they're looking for a quarterback. Kirk Cousins, James Winston. Maybe Jameis Winston because he is quarterback free there. I could see his value being super cheap. Oh, we'll do like a 5th. That's something understandable. But they need to roll with Jake Browning. Jake Browning knows the team. He's played there so many times with Joe Burrow's injury. He's looked pretty good. Besides those interceptions he had against the Jaguars, looked great. So I think he is their guy for while Burrow is out. Yes, they could use a backup. I don't necessarily know if I'm comfortable trading for one. I'd rather probably just sign one. So yeah. Jaguars though, they actually looked really good. It's unfortunate they lost this game. They pretty much had it in the bag, but choked it away at the very end. Already showing some issues between Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen with him snapping. Lawrence snapping at Cohen. If I'm the Jaguars, I'm not quite hitting the panic button because of how these first 2 games gone. Obviously, losing to the 2-0 Bengals is not something to be upset about, especially when it was by 4 points. So I'm still happy, but I am, starting to get concerned that there is discourse between, the head coach and the quarterback. The 2 people you don't want there to be, anything between. Number 11, we have the Lions up 2 spots. Quality win. There's nothing to be said about this win besides it was amazing. Offensively, defensively, mwah, chef's kiss. Jared Goff looked amazing. Amon-Ra looked amazing. Jahmyr Gibbs looked amazing. Was this a week 1 slump for the Lions, or was it genuinely like that Packers defense is scary? I think only time will tell, but I do think the Lions are officially back, and that was a 1 week, bad moment. Entering the top 10, we got the Commanders, minus 3 spots. They ended up losing 28-19 to the Packers on Thursday night in a game where Jaden Daniels apparently is injured. He is questionable to play week 3. I don't exactly know what the injury is, so don't ask me. If I'm the Commanders, I'm not quite hitting the panic button yet because, yes, he looked subpar these first 2 games. But you're 1-1. You held in there with one of the top teams. You got a division win already under your belt. I'm still feeling great about this season, especially because it's only week 2 for you. So it's never too early or too late. Yeah, sure. Number 9, we had the Broncos down a spot. Losing to the Colts. I did not think the Broncos were going to lose to the Colts. I did expect this game to be close. The Broncos did arguably win. However, a questionable penalty on the last kick of the game where he missed ended up giving him another chance where he drilled it. So congrats to the Colts. Broncos, I'm not panicking. I'm just like, are the Colts legit? Because, like I said, the Broncos look good. They just weren't able to get the dub. Number 8, we got the Buccaneers up 2 spots. Quality win over the Texans on Monday night. They didn't look the best, but they got the win. All that matters, especially because that's a quality opponent win. They already have, a win over a playoff team last year and a division win. So morale has to be at a pretty high moment with them being 2-0 in the division, or 2-0 in the season, 1-0 in the division, and, the next best team being the Falcons, who are 1-1, which they beat already, so they have the tiebreaker. Number 7, it's their year, bro. It's the Colts. They're up 10 spots. I didn't think I'd be talking about them this high, but Indiana Jones might be real. They have looked on fire. I don't know if it's, system quarterback thing. Daniel Jones comes to Stane Steichen, and all of a sudden they're elite. Or if it's the New Orleans Saints of last year where they just look good the first few weeks and then plane crash. Yeah. But at the moment, I'm buying into this Colts hype. So go Colts. Number 6, we have the first LA team being the Chargers, who are 2-0. Great quality win over the Raiders on Monday night. Very dominant, 20-9. Herbert threw a deep ball to Quinn Johnson. So, they are getting plays both short and long. Their defense held them to 9 points and a bunch of turnovers. So, another great positive. You get a division win. You are the only team in your division who are 2-0. Phenomenal so far for this Chargers team. I forgot to mention, 2 division wins. You beat the Chiefs as well. So, you have so many tiebreakers already going on. And it's only week 2. Number 5, we have the other LA team. It's going to be the Rams, who are 2-0. They get a nice win over the Titans. They did struggle early on, but they were able to piece it together and get a good quality win in the end. The Rams, it's crazy to think that they are technically 3rd in their division at this point, and they're 2-0. That's interesting. If I'm the Rams, I'm actually looking really good to this season. Real tough test, though. You're playing the Eagles in Philadelphia. Potential rematch of that divisional round. You were by far the closest to beating them, and what ended up being the Super Bowl champs. So let's see. I'm excited for this game. Number 4, we got the Packers staying the same. They get a nice quality win over the Commanders on Thursday night. That's now back-to-back playoff teams they ended up beating. The Lions, who had the 1 seed, and the Commanders, who ended up making the championship game. If I'm the Packers and I lose this game to the Browns, I am going to be so mad, because you go all this way, you beat 2 top-tier teams, get that conference tiebreaker, get that division tiebreaker for 2 teams that will probably be in the playoffs. I would be surprised if they're not. And then you go ahead and lose to the Browns, who I have as the worst team on this list. I would be upset. Number 3, we got the Ravens, who are 1-1, but they are going down a spot. All the way at number 3. Quality win over the Browns. They did amazing. Slow start, dominant finish. If only they would have beat the Bills week 1, they would arguably be number 1 on this list. They weren't able to. But, they're still a top 3 team in my eyes. Definitely top 5. I'm not worried if I'm the Ravens with that loss. The only thing it's going to hurt is tiebreaker come, playoff time. But I'm assuming this team stays healthy. They're going to be regular season contenders. Come playoffs, don't know, because we know how Lamar Jackson is there. Number 2, we have the Eagles going down a spot at 2-0. The Eagles are a great team. Let's not get that wrong. I just think there's one team better than them right now. Great win over the Chiefs. Get your Super Bowl, say, hey, that was not a fluke. All right, we own you now. The only downside is I do think the Eagles are going to struggle these next few weeks. Because they, one, have the Rams, who I am a big fan of, as you saw, the number 2 and number 5 team in my power rankings. I mean, talk about matchup. But the other thing being, the NFL is probably going to be cracking down on the tush-push penalties. And I think the Eagles are still going to execute it flawlessly if there's not a penalty. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know how well they're going to do at, getting these penalties under control. Because we've seen the NFL already just start taking videos down showing it. So I think, these guys are going to be telling the officials, hey, you need to be watching this play. You need to be watching for any movement. I think the tush-push is at an all-time, hate because of this penalty. So I think if I'm the Eagles, I'm going to be careful with it. And that is their kryptonite, right, on the other teams. All right, they know how to manage those 1-yard, 2-yard situations. But, they still have the best offense in the league, arguably top defense in the league. I'm not worried if I'm the Eagles. Number 1, we have the Bills up 2 spots. I've realized my mistake of putting the Ravens above them. I do think the Ravens are still a better team. I will say that. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to say the Bills are the best team in the league. After a dominant division win, 30-10 over the Jets. It was great. I think the Bills, if they can beat Mahomes in the playoffs, which Mahomes at this point would not even make it, I think the Bills could. Because we know the Bills. Every single time they lose in the playoffs, it seems to be to the team who ends up making it. Who have they lost? They've lost to the Chiefs and the Bengals. That's a pretty nice list to lose to. I think this is a great year for the Bills. I want to see them win it. But that is going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I did. I will see you guys next time tomorrow with predictions. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed.